Ever wondered how the history of France, a country known for its rich culture and exquisite cuisine, unfolded over the centuries? The Middle Ages, a period stretching from the 5th to the 15th century, is where our story begins. This era was characterized by a unique social structure known as the feudal system, a hierarchical structure where the king bestowed lands to his loyal nobles in return for military service. This system, while rigid and complex, established a sense of order and stability in a time of frequent conflicts and invasions. The Middle Ages also witnessed the deep-seated influence of the Catholic Church. The Church was not just a spiritual beacon, it was a powerful entity that shaped the cultural, political, and intellectual landscape of the time. The Church's influence was so profound that it even controlled education, with monks and priests being the primary educators. Then come the Crusades, a series of religious wars that had a profound impact on France. Initiated by the Pope, these wars aimed to reclaim the Holy Land from Muslim rule. While the Crusades were marked by violence and loss, they also led to increased contact with the Eastern world, ushering in a period of cultural exchange and growth. The Middle Ages in France were also a time of grandeur and innovation. Gothic architecture found its roots in this period, with the construction of iconic cathedrals like Notre Dame and Chartres. These cathedrals, with their soaring spires and intricate stained glass, stand as a testament to the artistic prowess of this era. Meanwhile, the rise of universities signaled a shift towards intellectual growth and learning. Institutions like the University of Paris became centers of theological and philosophical thought, shaping the minds of the future. So, the Middle Ages, while shrouded in mystery, were a pivotal period in French history, laying the groundwork for the nation we know today. As we leave the Middle Ages behind, we venture into a period of great upheaval and revolution. Imagine a time when the very fabric of society is being questioned, a time of Renaissance and Reformation. A time when the Middle Ages, with its obscurity and mysticism, were giving way to a new era of enlightenment and discovery. This was the Renaissance, a period of profound change and evolution in France. This was a period when humanism was on the rise, a philosophy that put man rather than God at the center of the universe. It was a time when great minds like Rabelais and Montaigne were questioning the status quo, advocating for the freedom of thought and the value of personal experience. This new way of thinking fostered a sense of curiosity and a thirst for knowledge, leading to significant advancements in various fields, from arts to science. In tandem with this intellectual revolution, the spread of the printing press was democratizing knowledge. No longer held hostage in the hands of the few, books and ideas were now accessible to many. This spread of literacy and learning also played a pivotal role in the rise of the French language, as authors began to write in French rather than Latin, thus standardizing and enriching the language. As we move forward, we transition into the era of the Reformation, a time when the religious landscape of France was dramatically altered. The Protestant Reformation, initiated by Martin Luther in Germany, soon spread to France, leading to decades of religious wars between Catholics and Protestants. These wars were not merely about religion, they were also about power, politics, and control. The culmination of these religious wars came with the signing of the Edict of Nantes by King Henry IV in 1598. This edict granted substantial rights to the Protestants, marking the beginning of religious tolerance in France. It was a significant milestone, a beacon of hope amidst the religious turmoil. With the end of religious wars, France steps into an era of absolute monarchy, known as the Age of Louis XIV. It was a time when the Sun King would reign supreme, casting long shadows that would shape the future of France. But that is a tale for another time. How does a country change when a king declares, "I am the state"? This question sets the stage for the reign of Louis XIV, the Sun King, who transformed France into a centralized power, a beacon of art and culture that outshone the rest of Europe. Born to rule, Louis XV stepped onto the throne as a child and ruled for over 72 years, the longest of any monarch in European history. He was a king who believed in his divine right to rule, a belief that led him to declare, "L'État, c'est moi." I am the state. With these words, he centralized power and built up the majestic Palace of Versailles, a testament to his absolute rule. But Louis XIV's reign was not just about absolute power, it was also about fostering art, culture, and intellectual thought. His court became a hub for artists, musicians, and writers, setting the stage for what would become known as the French Enlightenment. As the Sun King's reign set, the Enlightenment rose. A time of questioning, of challenging the status quo, of daring to think differently. Philosophers like Voltaire and Rousseau emerged, their words igniting the sparks of change. Voltaire, with his biting wit, challenged the established religious and political norms. Rousseau, with his bold ideas on education and citizenry, laid the groundwork for democratic thought. Their ideas resonated, echoed, and spread, reaching the ears and minds of many. The Enlightenment was not just a French phenomenon, it was a wave of intellectual revolution that swept across Europe, questioning absolute rule and advocating for the rights of man. Yet, amidst this intellectual revolution, the seeds of a far more tangible revolution were being sown. The Sun King's opulence, the stark divide between the rich and the poor, the questioning of the Enlightenment, all these were bubbling beneath the surface of French society. But all that glitters is not gold. The seeds of revolution were being sown. And, as we'll see in the next scene, these seeds would grow into a storm that would shake France to its very core. What happens when the people rise against the monarchy? This question sparked an event that would forever change the course of French history, the French Revolution. It was late 18th century. The people were unhappy, burdened by heavy taxes and social inequality. The monarchy, under Louis XVI, had become increasingly detached from the plight of the masses. It was a society on the brink of chaos, and chaos indeed ensued. This was the French Revolution. The revolution was not just a battle in the streets, it was a battle of ideas, of principles. It was the common people challenging the norms, demanding liberty, equality, and fraternity. But these ideals came with a heavy price. The reign of terror followed, a period where fear ruled. Thousands were executed, including the king and queen themselves, in the name of preserving the revolution. Amidst this turmoil, a figure emerged, a man who would leave an indelible mark on history: Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon, a military genius, seized control and declared himself emperor. He brought stability and order, but at the cost of individual freedom. His rule saw many reforms, notably the Napoleonic Code, a legal code that laid the administrative and judicial foundations for much of Western Europe. Yet Napoleon's ambition was his downfall. His quest for territorial expansion led to wars, draining France's resources and manpower. Eventually, his defeat at the Battle of Waterloo in 1815 marked the end of his rule and the start of a new era. The French Revolution and Napoleon's reign brought about radical changes. It dismantled the age-old monarchy, challenging the very fabric of society. It brought about a new order, a new way of governance, and a new legal system. The ripple effects of the revolution were felt across Europe, leading to a period of restoration and re-evaluation. The French Revolution was a turning point, a moment that echoed through the pages of history, reminding us of the power of the people and the consequences of unchecked authority. Can a country ever truly restore its past glory after such upheaval? In the wake of the tumultuous French Revolution and Napoleonic era, France found itself in a period of restoration. The Bourbon dynasty, ousted by revolutionaries years prior, was reinstated. However, this was no simple return to the status quo. The Restoration period was fraught with political tension and social change as France grappled with its identity. Was it a nation of royals or revolutionaries? But the pendulum of history swung again, and the Third Republic was established. This era, lasting over 70 years, was marked by a series of political crises, but also by significant advancements in French society and culture. It was a time of contradictions, a time of progress shadowed by persistent instability. And then, the world was plunged into war. In the early 20th century, France found itself at the heart of two of the most devastating wars in human history. The First and Second World Wars scarred the French landscape both physically and metaphorically. Cities were razed, families torn apart, and the nation's economy was left in ruins. But in the face of such adversity, France showed resilience. The impact of these wars cannot be understated. They reshaped the very fabric of French society, changing its course forever. The devastation led to a surge in nationalistic sentiment, a rallying cry for a nation in need of unity and strength. This sentiment would come to define France's role in the post-war world, as it rebuilt and redefined itself once more. But France's story doesn't end there. The trials of war and the resilience in its aftermath set the stage for a new era. From the rubble of war-torn cities, from the echoes of battles fought, a new republic was taking shape. Out of the ashes of war, the Fifth Republic was born. How does a nation rebuild and redefine itself in the modern world? This question is answered by France's journey from the establishment of the Fifth Republic to the present day. After the tumultuous years of the Fourth Republic, France was in dire need of stability. Enter Charles de Gaulle, a military hero and a charismatic leader. His vision and leadership gave birth to the Fifth Republic in 1958, introducing a hybrid system of government that combined elements of both presidential and parliamentary systems. The new constitution, designed to strengthen the executive office, ensured that France could stand tall amidst the political turmoil of the 20th century. Yet, this era was not just about political restructuring. France was also grappling with the complexities of decolonization. The Algerian War of Independence, a brutal and divisive conflict, was a turning point in France's colonial history. The war ended in 1962, leading to Algeria's independence and marking the end of French colonial rule in Africa. This period of decolonization was a time of introspection for France as it grappled with its colonial past and sought to redefine its identity on the global stage. In the latter half of the 20th century and into the 21st, France has played a crucial role in the European Union. As one of the founding members, France has been instrumental in shaping the EU's policies and direction, championing ideals of unity, peace, and integration. But France's influence extends beyond politics. In the 21st century, it has made significant contributions in culture, science, and economy. From pioneering research in fields like astrophysics and genetics, to being a global trendsetter in fashion and cuisine, France continues to enrich the world. From the Middle Ages to the present day, the history of France is a tale of resilience and reinvention. But remember, history is not just about the past, it's about understanding our present and envisioning our future. So, what have we learned from this journey through France's history? From the mysterious Middle Ages, we've seen the foundations of French culture being laid, with their art, architecture, and thought. We moved into the turbulent times of the Renaissance and Reformation, where France was a major player in shaping European and world history. The age of Louis XIV and Enlightenment brought about significant changes in governance and philosophy, setting the stage for the French Revolution and the reign of Napoleon Bonaparte, a period marked by dramatic political and social changes. We then journeyed through the Restoration to the World Wars, witnessing the resilience and spirit of the French people. Finally, we arrived at the Fifth Republic, navigating through the ups and downs to the present day, illustrating how France has continually evolved and adapted. Remember, the stories of our past shape who we are today. So, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking questions. After all, history is not just a subject, it's a story, our story.